how to bind JSON data to Java object to JSON data. So when we are binding in this video, when we are binding the data from JSON to Java, we're going to follow some rules. Otherwise, we will get some exceptions. So what are those exceptions? How we are going to handle those exceptions? So we'll see now. Okay. So for that, I will take one more project. I will create one new folder. This data. In that folder, I will create new file, JSON file. So that I will take bench employee. Okay, so this bench employee contains like name, and his address, and so in the bench, the project manager will give some concepts, right, to work on the POCs. So current POC, I will take like POC. It contains the current project name. Okay, project name, like do it on microservice. Okay, and this concept is given by. So one more person like Kishore. Okay, now this is fine, right? Okay, everything is fine. Now save it. Control and there is one. Okay, fine. Now I will create same POJO class here. For binding, I need to create a POJO class with the same name, bench employee. Okay, I'll create C, and I'll create the properties. So I'll drag and I'll keep it aside, and I'll create a properties like private string name property, and I'll create a address property. And so if you see here, current POC has a nested object, right? So for that we will create a current POC class. Okay, so we can create one more class, current POC. So class first layer should be character. Finish. Okay, so here I will create properties. First one is project name. Next one given by. So I will create setters and getters for toString for checking purpose. Okay, then the current POC, I will get same property. So then here I will save. Okay, so I want to change my JSON object. I will keep one. I will take one boolean value like is active boolean. So I will keep like true. So okay, and then I will take here boolean is active. Okay, fine. Then I will create a setters and getters for these properties, and toString for checking the data has binded or not. Fine. So everything I created. I have my JSON object, and I have my POJO, and I will bind this JSON data to my POJO. How to do? Then I will go to my app.java. In app.java, I will create for binding the JSON object to Java object. So we have to use object mapper. Object mapper. So object mapper class. Okay, I will import that object. Okay, so first of all, if I want to import this object mapper, definitely see here I am not getting any object mapper means a package. Okay, so I need to import, means I need to include the JSON. I need to include the JSON databinding. If I want to work with a object mapper, I should import the JSON. I already I already have the dependency in the other project. I will copy the JSON databinding and I will click in this project. Okay. Okay, done. Now fine. So I included and I will update my Maven project. Okay. Update. Then now I will go to my app.java. Okay. I will import my object mapper. You see here com.foster XML. So from this JSON databinding, I imported the object mapper. Okay, fine. Now I'll extract to object mapper into local variable. Okay. So now I want to read, right? So data from the JSON file. So for that I will use read value. So here I need to pass the file path of JSON file path. So that is data class bench employee. This is a file. So I will bind it to bench employee class. Okay. Now so it throws exceptions. Okay, fine. So I will initialize this local variable bench employee. Okay. Now I will print this one. Okay. Done. Fine. Here what I did, I just created a bench employee JSON object. Okay. Then I created a same POJO class for binding. So now here, if you see, so that bench employee, I'm just binding here by using the object mapper. So I'm just reading the data and I'm binding into the bench employee class. Okay. So I will get a bench employee object and I'm just printing. Okay. Fine. Now we'll see. Okay. I'll run this one. I will run it. Okay. So we got some exception like unrecognized is active. Okay. That is a not marked as ignorable. That means, say, if you see in your bench employee.json, so all properties, whatever the keys you written inside the JSON object, you have to mention all the keys with the same names. Okay, in the bench employee class itself. Okay, so in the bench employee POJO, I have written the same things, but still I am getting the same exception. So how can I ignore this exception? So to ignore that exception, so we have one more. Okay, we have one annotation like the JSON ignore properties. Okay, JSON ignore properties. Here you need to do like ignore unknown is equal to true. If you keep like that, okay, it will ignore means if the property here what exactly happening, it is not reading this property. That's why it is showing some unknown property error. So now exception. So I kept this annotation. So that's why it will ignore and it will give the output. Okay. Now we'll check it again. I will run it. Okay. Now see here. So bench employee name, address, and is active, false, and the current current POC project name, microservices given by. So all the details are printed. Okay, everything is fine. But you can see here is active. If you see here is active, I'm passing true. Okay, but here I'm getting false. That means so by POJO, in the POJO scenario, so whenever the binding, the object mapper, whenever you give the path to the object mapper. Whenever you give path to the object mapper, this object mapper will check for the POJO class setter methods. Okay, so if you see the name for the name setter method is we return the set. Okay, so JSON object means the object mapper will check for the setter in the POJO and it will insert the value. It will set to the particular POJO, and address also it will check for the setter. Setter is present. That's why it insert. Means it initialize the values to the particular address variable. Okay, if is active. In case of is active, so if you see the setter, okay, set active, it's not actually set active, but the name is active. Okay, in case of boolean only it is happening. Actually, if you keep like set is active, so then it will work. Okay, because it will check for the exact key with the setter. Okay, exact key with setter. That's why then only it will be insert the particular value. Otherwise, it will insert the default value. Default value of the boolean is false. That's why it is showing here false. Okay, now I changed set active to set is active. Then we will check how it will be work, and we will check the output. See now, I run the application. Now see, the is active is true. What happening here? By default, this Eclipse, okay, the Eclipse, when you create the setters and getters, by default, when the boolean value is will come, whenever is will come, so that will create like set. It won't take the is, and it will create directly set active. Okay, so that's why we have to write manually like this. Otherwise, we have one more way. So if you want, you can write. If you don't want to change your POJO, but if you wanted to do like exact values, so you have to use one more property like at the rate of JSON property. So in this JSON property, you just pass your key, whatever the key you are passing, right? You just pass your key and you just remove your whatever it is. Okay, so as it is, I kept as it is. Okay, and I kept JSON property is active. Okay, so when now the object mapper will take this key and it will check for the setter method for the POJO. Then here it will check, means it doesn't contain any setter, means exact setter. That's why it will look for this annotation. So whatever the annotation you given the name, it should match with the in this annotation, it should match with the key and value. Then only it will take and it will set the particular value into the our POJO class. Okay, we'll see, and I will run this one and see. Okay, now see, still I'm getting the true. Okay, so that means, so by default property means when you creating the setters and getters, in case of boolean, okay, it is taking like directly set. Okay, it won't create the particular exact syntax of a setter. Okay, that's why we are getting that ignorable issue. Okay, one more thing, and if I want to add the rating, okay, I will add the rating. So I will add the rating for this guy 5 star. Okay, right. So now see what will happen if I run this application again. I added one more property there in the JSON file. I run that application. Now see, okay, see, unrecognized field rating. So why it is getting unrecognized field rating? So you have mentioned your rating. Okay, you are mentioned this one, means a key, your property in the JSON file, but you are not written inside the POJO class. That's why it is saying that unrecognized field is a rating. When your object mapper is taking this rating key, it will look for the set rating method. Okay, so object mapper will look for the setter, because it should object mapper has a responsibility to map our data to the our POJO. That's why it looks for the setter. It doesn't contain any values here for rating. That's why it is saying that unrecognized field. Okay, so if I don't want to, even though I don't want to write that rating into my POJO class, still I just want to ignore this exception. So you just enable your JSON ignore annotation, ignore properties annotation is equal to true, then it will ignore. Then we will check it. Okay, we won't get any exception now. So see what will happen. Right? See, so even though I didn't added that rating into my POJO also, still I'm getting the output of just name, address is active and current. But where is my rating? I return this JSON ignore property here. That's why it ignores the whatever the fields coming from the JSON objects. It won't bind to the our particular POJO. So okay, but in some cases, still I have my rating. Okay, consider my rating is there. Okay, consider my rating is there. Okay, I created setters and getters also for this. So I will create a setter and getter, and I'll create again a toString method because I updated right with rating. So okay, so I have the rating. Okay, so still I have the rating. Still in this case I don't want to use rating. Rating. So in that case, what you need to do now? So in this case, even though I'm passing data from JSON object, still I don't want to map that. I don't want to bind the data to my POJO. In that case, you have to use the value attribute. So here you can pass array of our keys. Okay, array of our keys here. Just see, I'm just ignoring, right? So just keep that. Sorry, rating. Okay, I'll keep the rating. Okay, what will happen? We'll see. Okay, if you use the value attribute, what will happen? See, I'm getting name, fine, address getting rating I'm getting null. Okay, so but I'm here passing the rating, but still I'm getting null. Why I'm getting null means you are simply saying that with you just ignore the rating. You are just ignoring the rating. Means that means if you write inside the value object, you will means that type of keys will be ignored and inserted the default value of the data type. Okay, so the default value of the data will be inserted. Okay, that is the purpose of value attribute. So if I don't want name, right, they are passing name, but I don't want a name and I don't want to bind my name to this object. So just I will keep the name here. So I will just run it. Okay, again you can see what will happen. From JSON you are passing the name, but here you can see you are getting null. That means by default you are passing the data, but here you are using the ignore properties values. You kept this particular IDs, so properties. When you keep this here, so it ignores the value and it inserts the default value of the particular property. Okay, that is the exceptions. So we are going to handle this type of exceptions in this case, in the binding case. And one more point, this is a one employee. Okay, so if I want to handle the multiple employees, like I wanted to change, one second, I will close these things and I will close. Fine. So now I want to handle the multiple bench employees. Like I'm passing array of data. Okay, so how to handle this data? Okay, this is employee 1, right? So I'll take employee 2. Like I will take Sivaya employee, and he is from Kadapa. Okay, so I will take it as a false by default. I'll take 84 and is unissued by me. Okay, right. So I'm taking the. I will take one more. Okay, is from Telangana. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. I'm here. I've written the on list of employees, bench employees. I want to handle those employees inside the. I want to map these objects to my POJO. So how can I map it? So here, simple. No need to worry. I will just comment this thing and this one, and I will take. So here I just want to return the array of employees. Okay, that's it. And I will do one thing, and I will initialize that one. Okay. So bench employee, I will take bench employee. Okay, array of. So this means it will read the data from the bench employee.json file, and it will insert into it will produce the array of bench employees Java objects. Okay, so for that output purpose we will do the for each. Okay, so print the data. And I'll do this out here. I will take these bench employees. Okay. Now we'll see how output will come. If you see here, we are getting the multiple employees data, and I'm getting name null. Why I'm getting null? Okay, I will see. Oh, here I'm ignoring, right? So I will just comment this one. Okay, I'll just comment and I will run again. Now see, the employees and JCY, Sampad, the day address and ratings and everything. So this is a list of employees, bench employees I'm handling here. Okay, so it's array, right? I just want to use a list. If I don't want array, I want to use a list. To convert array to list, we have arrays.as list. Okay. Control 1. Extract to local variable. So I will take bench employees. Okay, so now actually the array of employees are coming, so I just converted this array of employees to a list of employees. Okay, so iteration purpose I have taken the for each. Okay, now I will run it. See, everything is fine, right? So this way we are going to handle the exceptions, and this way we are going to handle the list of data binding the data from JSON to Java. Okay, so hope you people are got a clear picture. Then next video we're going to see about REST controllers. Okay, how we're going to configure and how we're going to test the REST URI. Okay, so let's see in the next video.